Morning guys, today's Saturday, the 30th of January. Now, just going to be covering just mainly the stock market, the ASX 200 in this one. I've got another few setups that are happening on the other pairs. There's actually a lot of setups, a lot of big potential setups in play in the next couple of weeks. So I'll show you a couple of videos of that, just separately of course. But I want to draw your attention mainly to the stock market because I've been talking to a few people and trying to explain to them how it kind of works and what my philosophy is behind it. And the bottom line is that my conclusion is that markets are just rigged. The stock market, currency markets, derivatives, commodities, all the markets are rigged, right? Some more than others. The gold market and the silver market is 100% rigged. That's just how it is, right? But you got to think of it this way, right? The currency markets is 70% of the institutions are trading in the currency markets. So your hedge funds, your market makers, your banks, investment banks, all those big guys that have the money, they make up 70% of the market. Now the currency markets, they're on any day there will be about $5 trillion worth being exchanged, being traded, right, in and out, 5 trillion worth in a day. So it's quite significant. If you do 70% of that, that's what 70% of be about say $4 trillion, right? A bit more than 4 trillion, I think. And the other 30% is mainly the retail investors, retail traders like myself, really small time traders, maybe small business. They make up the 30% of the market. So it's a tough game to play. Like you're basically playing against these big guns, and they drive the market. So if you want to make money, it's really just trying to get on their side, trying to identify what they're doing, what they're going to do. So you don't want to trade against them. You're not going to win. That's why it's not really. It's more of a competition against them, right? To be on their side, okay? But it's rigged. So, and I always knew it was rigged. I just didn't know how they play this. But I'll kind of show you. I'll kind of give you a brief. I'll talk about the chart stuff later. But like the markets ebb and flow for a reason, right? And on top of that, you've got fundamental data, news that comes out, right? And the news is what, the news or how a company's going or whether a company's going to fail or whether we're going to raise interest rates, all that kind of stuff plays into this as well. So the key is to try and understand when these happen. But fundamentally, the fundamental news is what drives these big moves and etc., right? Doesn't matter what news it is, there will be some sort of news that will come out that will influence these price movements, basically. So one thing I haven't tried to understand is how do they time these so well? That's why a lot of the stuff you see in the media, most of the stuff it's all nonsense. Really, it's they'll come out and they'll make something a lot worse than it is. And then which drives all these massive price movements, right? So the institutions are pretty much relying on you to sell your stock, for example. When they tell you to sell your stock, it's really just for an opportunity for them to buy up again, and that's what they do. So, and usually the news tends to come out a little bit later than it should, and by that time the move's already been made. So, but it's all rigged. Like if you understand structure, I don't know the best way to explain this, but none of this is an accident, all right? None of this is an accident, and some of these patterns in here are repeatable. They've happened before, right? Say for instance this move over here. If you go back to 2008, right, or maybe 2012, you get similar moves, right? You get a similar move happening, right? This is 2011. Which is the Euro crisis. So you get the similar move here, right? Now, you have to kind of go, you're looking at this, you're thinking, oh, well, of course it's going to look similar, but you gotta, once you drill into it in detail, you'll see that the moves are quite similar in nature, right? How it retraces, the moves in between, not exactly the same, but it's very similar, right? If you go back to 2008, where's 2008? Here, I think. It's 2000. Yep. Okay. Yeah, here we go. You get a very similar move, right? You've got to look at it carefully, though. You can't just look at it naked eye and then assume it's the same. But you get what I mean. But none of this is an accident. It's all meant to be. All right. So the key is to trying to be on the right side of the market. Try to kind of work out what the institutions are doing. Okay. And seriously, that's how I'm able to. I never thought you can pick the tops and bottoms. Right. I never thought you could back then. Now, I'm pretty, most of the time I'm 80% confident, that I've found the top. Sometimes you do get it wrong, of course, right? But majority of the time I get this right. Like I'm able to pick the reversals, even the short-term reversals. I'm able to pick that, where it's going to stall, where it's going to break, all that kind of stuff, right? It's really not that hard. It's just trying to, and I'll go into this a little bit later, but This is a learned skill. You can learn this, right? It's not something that you have to have. It's not something you need to know. You don't need the finance degree to learn this stuff. You don't need to learn finance. You don't even need to learn economics, right? So, it's just basically your desire. If you really want to learn this stuff, and you really want to know this, then you'll put in the effort to learn it. That's simple as that. So, and that's how how I can basically make a fair bit of money from this. Basically, I can take the extra risk, right? Because I know a little bit more about this than most. I can afford to take extra risk, basically, right? I'll give you an example, right? Now, I don't want to brag, right? I usually brag. I don't brag, but usually I post a lot of stuff on Facebook and stuff. But it's really just if I really want to brag, then I will brag. But I want to show you this as an example, right? I was talking to my friend recently, and I told him that you can make a lot of money from this market, right? And I said to them, you can make, I've proven that you can make a lot of money with a small account, multiple times. I have multiple accounts that I use, for different strategies or different purposes. And I told my friend that I've got one account where I usually have like minimal, about $500 in there. And I've been able to build that account to, anywhere between $2,000 to $10,000 or $2,000 to $8,000, within a couple of weeks to a month, right? Now, most people will find that hard to believe, but you can do it, right? You just got to follow a particular strategy that I do for this particular account. And I'll show you an example of this, right? This is from my trading. This is one of my scalping methods that I use. I didn't use this strategy during particular periods in the market. I don't use it all the time, okay? Because you've got to be careful with this particular strategy. But this is from, it says 27 here, but really it's from the 28th, right? So, unfortunately it doesn't give the time here, but 28th, and I traded this all the way till the, where is it? Where are we again? 20, Jesus, hold on, sorry. To the 29th, right? So pretty much one full trading session. And I made this much, 4,176, right? That's in one trading day. Not 24 hours straight, of course, it was throughout all the sessions, but it was not straight, right? It's during key periods within that day that I wanted to trade, right? So it's a combination of all three sessions. So I traded a little bit of the Aussie market, then I traded some. Then also the key money making time was the London and New York time, all right? But you can see here, like these are the direction. These are the instruments I traded, open, close, the size of each one. Now, unfortunately, it shows you just every trade, right? So I might have entered a trade with 2 lots, but then I would have sold half, right? So it'll come up as a separate one, and then if I close the remaining one, which is one left, it'll show up as another one. So unfortunately, it does that. This is the profit and loss, okay, which is pretty much the same as this column here. don't have to worry about that. But you can see here, like, you know, oh yeah, sorry. These are the E-minis, right? So these are trading the E-minis, okay? Not the normal stocks or currencies or anything like that, products, or even trading the indexes. These are the E-minis that I trade. So each E-mini basically is, for the ones I trade, for example, I'll give you one example, is, you know, each tick is worth $12.50, right? Each point is worth $50, and within that, when you break that down, you've got 4 ticks. Each tick is worth $12.50, right? Which makes up the point, which is $50. So obviously, each small move is quite large, right? So you need to really know your risk reward, you know, how to money management, all that kind of stuff, right? Because, you know, it can quickly go down really quickly, and you will find yourself, you know, in a sizable loss, right? But the key to this is knowing when to enter. So this is really strict entries, right, on the scalping strategy that I use. So, but you can see here, you know, I've got, you know, $160 there. See all my losses here? They're pretty small, 50, 10, 20, 10. You know, you do get some big losses. Sometimes it does gap up a bit, or, you know, you can't help those. But yeah, but overall, you know, I've got, you know, $29, $30, $38. I keep my losses to a minimum. Losses, gains at 85, 54, 94. Here's a big loss there, 122. But here you go, 146, 111, 108. Then a big bit of a loss there, 109. And then here, I've had a bit of a good run here. So 100, 150, 377, 207, 140. So yeah, you do. So you try and keep your losses minimal. You don't want to blow your losses out too big. I think I had a big one here somewhere. There you go. So this is one. So I had, you know, a good run there. So forth. So yeah, I had a big loss here, 150 minus 130. So I had some. This is where I started to get a bit sloppy, and, you know, this is where you kind of got to know where to stop, you know. And I think I felt like I was in a good run, so I just kept going. But really, I was actually, you know, my performance was getting worse. So yeah, it's pretty much all losses down here, which was really poor. So it could have been a lot higher, I guess. But yeah, this doesn't happen every day. Okay, I just want to make that clear. This is only specific times of the market that I trade this strategy. So that's that there. So you can make a lot of money with a small account. You know, it involves discipline and money management and so forth. But you know, I keep asking myself, why haven't I really pushed this further? Like, as in, why haven't I been able to push this into the big figures? And the main issue is just psychology, right? Psychology is 95% of trading, and that is still something that I have battles with. So psychology is what lets me down, basically, and I'm working on that. So I'm getting better at it, but I do hit some roadblocks and some obstacles. But if you don't, when I tell people psychology, they don't believe me. They're just like, how does psychology have anything to do with trading? It's 95% of it. It has everything to do with it, right? How you enter trades, why you don't enter trades, why you take profits too early, why do you let your losses, why is it when you're in a losing trade you just, you know, it gets bigger and bigger, right? You know, why do you overtrade, why do you, you know, all those kind of questions, why do you do this, right? And it all comes down to you know, the main things that drive your decisions, which is your emotions, right? And what drives your emotions, right? Fear and greed, right? And pain and pleasure. Those are the two things that drive your decisions, right? Right. If you find something pleasurable, right, then you'll make a decision based on that. You'll do things to avoid pain, right? To gain pleasure, right? Or gain pleasure and avoid pain, right? And fear and greed is simple. You know, the fear of the fear of missing out, the fear of losing money, the fear of losing your job, right? Greed, you know, making money. You just take the risk in making money. You know, greed is really can be really deadly in terms of trading. So just gotta be really careful with that. But you can make money. You can make a lot of money from this, right? And I'm happy to show people. You know, it's not a competition, right? Trading is not, you're not trading again, although there's someone else on the other side of the trade where you're kind of taking money from, right? The way I see it is that, you know, if you put in the effort, you put in the time to learn it, then it's not a problem. It's just playing a game, basically, right? Not literally, but you're playing a game against the other trader, but you don't know who it is, right? They're just making a bad decision. So your good decision and their bad decision is how you able to extract money from them. But really, the competition really is against the banks, right? We want to be on the institution side, right? That's what you want to be. That's the ultimate goal, okay? And in that instance, I want to talk to you about the ASX 200, right? So just covering what we've been going on. So you know, obviously we've seen the down move that we've had recently. Well, I'm just going to hide this for a little bit. Where are we? Drawing tools, hide all drawing tools. Okay, so we had the down move here that we had recently since the start of the year, and then we've got this retracement. We had a bit of up and down through this period here, which is kind of a bit, I'm not too sure about this one yet. I'm a little bit concerned about that. But everything at the moment is based on time, right? Time. Not price, but time. And I'm glad to see that we got this move yesterday up, right? Because if we were doing this for any longer, then we could potentially roll over much sooner because, like I said, everything's based on time. So, you know, we need to get to a certain price level within a certain period of time before we see a market rollover. If we kept doing this for a long time, you know, we can roll over sooner than we think. So, and I was really nervous around this level here. But what you're going to see is we're waiting for the market to roll over again, basically, and I anticipate the price to go up around this level here, somewhere around this level here before we see a rollover. And if we do see a rollover, we're going to be looking at, you know, potentially going down to as low as, you know, at least the 4597 area, potentially down to probably the, you know, 4300s area potentially, and this will be over the course of a few weeks, I guess, not all in one day. So just be cautious of that. I wouldn't be buying in at the moment. I think this is the top. We topped out back in March, April. But who knows? You know, it could go up and break this level here and then go up to there. But I don't think it'll go past this level here. We just have to see what happens. But there is an opportunity to see what happens next. But yeah. But anyways, I want to quickly show you just what I'm looking at here. So if you look on the daily chart, I won't look at the daily. Well, because I'll look at the lower time frames a little bit because that's where all the moves are. You don't need to worry about the daily moves for now. But I've got a couple patterns, right? So I've got a cipher pattern and I've got a bat pattern, right? Both completing within the same area, okay? Which is good. First thing. I've got an ABCD harmonic pattern that completes around this level too, right? So I expect to see a reversal anywhere within this zone, okay? Within this zone, we should see a reversal here. So just because the pattern completes here doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna reverse straight away. It does happen quite a bit, but you know, technically, the rules say that price can still go up further, but it cannot pass this X leg here, okay? So provided it doesn't violate this X leg, these patterns are valid. Now, initially you'd be looking for, if you took the shorts, you'd be looking for targets around this level here. So you'd be looking for targets around 4962 and 4883, which is good because you've got some support here, right? Which is good for, you know, potential, you know, move down to that level. Also, this level here, you got some support as well, some congestion. So another good level to look for targets. Stops, easy. They just sit just above the X leg for stops. But in saying that, I just want to have a look at something else because I think we might actually also see, yeah, I reckon we might see this level this area get tested. All right, we've got a nice trend line that comes up from down there. Where was it from the daily? All right, so I've marked this trend line here, this little line there to see the intersections. So I assume that once we get up to that level there, we should see some sort of reversal. If we get there, I don't know. But for now, we're definitely, the first things first, which is this level here, we're going to see definitely a reversal, right? Back to some levels around here, all right? Once we get that, we should start to see a bit of a rally back up, okay? So that's going to be where you'd look to buy back for a rally, for a potential rally back up. Once we get that, if we do get that, if this does play out, then you'd be looking for, right, a reversal signal, all right, up here somewhere. So keep an eye on that. The market's not done selling yet. There is a lot more. There is another leg down, I think, for this market to go. But I could be wrong. Who knows? We just have to wait and see. But keep an eye on this area here. We could see it happen there. And that's really about it there from the ASX 200. What else is there? Lower time frame. No. Okay. So, okay. Well, I guess, yeah, that's it really. So you got the cipher pattern, you got your bat pattern. Both completing around this level here. Good trade opportunity on the 4 hours, so good money there to be made if you play with that one. This is more of a swing trade too as well, okay? Okay. Alright, I'll leave it there and oh yeah, that's right, I want to show you so I just bought the first stock. Right, so I don't really buy stocks really. I know a lot of people say I buy, you know, how stock trading and all that stuff, but honestly, I don't actually trade or buy stocks at all really. Rarely do I. I only buy them when I think there's a really good opportunity. But here we go. This is Santos. This is an oil company. Now you saw prices of oil rally during the week. So what I did was, this one's been beaten down for quite some time. We've been looking. I've tried to get back in. I've failed. Right. So what I did was yesterday I got back in at around the $3 mark. Now this is just going to be a short-term trade. I'm looking for targets of around $3.50. You know. So we're basically the reason why I say that is because, you know, you've got, it's just basically a harmonic pattern, basically a continuation pattern. So let's say we start from here, initial move up there, down from there, and then you get this move like this, and now, you know, I would have liked to enter here, but I didn't see it at the time, but you can still enter here. So what I'm looking for is a move back into around about that level there, which is in line with there, right? So looking for a move around $3.50, and then I might look to short the market back down again. See how we go. Let's say the structure level there. The other interesting thing is you've got this big gap, right, from $4.50 to $5.50, right? Now, if you know anything about gaps, the market tends to go back to fill these gaps, right? So if you ever see these gaps happening, it's a good chance to actually, you know, look for trading opportunities. So this could actually, you know, this will go, you know, this will do its thing. But if there is a good possibility that if it does go up, you're going to definitely get these gaps filled. So that's already telling you that there's you can develop a strategy around that, right? So I might actually sell half the position here and then watch it play out and see where this goes. So there is a good opportunity there. So and that's it, guys, for me. Like I said, I'll do a couple more videos on a couple of the other currency pairs that got some interesting moves happening, and I'll share that across. Okay. All right. See you guys later.